welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look at, well, a really profound text, the Bhagavad Gita.
Indeed. It's so much more than just scripture, isn't it? It tackles these timeless human questions.
Exactly. And we're not trying to boil the ocean here. We're focusing, really zeroing in on just the first chapter.
Which is vital. It really sets the whole stage. Chapter 1, sometimes called Arjuna's Vishada or Arjuna's Sorrow.
Right. So it drops us right onto this battlefield, Kurukshetra. Huge armies facing off.
Mm-hmm. And there's Arjuna, the great warrior, right in the thick of it, but he's having a major internal crisis.
And we've got some fantastic material to work with today, thanks to you, our listener. Transcripts from Swami's Vidyatmananda and Paramarthananda.
Yeah, really insightful talks.
And also commentary excerpts from Anandeva Sastri and Swami Comparananda. So a real mix of perspectives.
Which is great. It gives us a richer picture. Our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out the key stuff from this first chapter.
Understand Arjuna's initial problem, right? And see the seeds of the Gita's teachings.
Exactly. We'll try to pinpoint the main takeaways, keep it clear without getting totally bogged down in, every single detail.
Okay, let's get into it. Chapter 1 opens, and it's the blind king, Dhritarashtra, asking his charioteer, Sanjaya, hey, what's happening out there?
Yeah, it's an interesting starting point, isn't it?
Why do you think it starts there with his question?
Well, Dhritarashtra's blindness, it's often seen as symbolic, representing a kind of spiritual blindness, maybe attachment, ignorance, big themes the Gita gets into later.
Ah, okay. So his asking sets up this perspective that might be missing the deeper picture.
Sort of, yeah. He's anxious, wants to know what's happening physically, but maybe doesn't grasp the underlying dharma, the real stakes.
Got it. And Sanjaya responds by describing the armies. Both sides, Pandavas and Kauravas. It's like a who's who.
He lists the big names, Duryodhana, Bhima, Arjuna, all these major warriors.
It gives you a sense of the scale, the sheer size of this impending clash.
It does. And Sanjaya's description, it also subtly highlights something important. How many people on opposite sides are actually related?
Oh, right. Kinsman facing kinsman. That becomes crucial later for Arjuna.
Exactly. It lays the groundwork for his emotional turmoil.
Now, Duryodhana, Sanjaya recounts him assessing the Pandava army. He points out their strength, but also seems pretty confident in his own forces.
Yeah, he does. There's a bit of maybe bravado there, or perhaps just his perspective. He sees the Pandava commanders, people like Drupada's son, Drishtadyumna, who's actually taught by Drona, who's now on Duryodhana's side.
Wow, complex relationship.
Very. Duryodhana lists his own key warriors too, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, emphasizing their loyalty and their willingness to die for him.
So he's kind of psyching himself up, maybe?
Yeah.
Or trying to project confidence?
Could be. His view is definitely shaped by his own ambition and his conviction that his cause is just. But it sets up a kind of dramatic irony given Arjuna's reaction soon after.
Then we get the sounds, the conchis blowing, drums, trumpets. It becomes auditory, not just visual.
Yeah, that's powerful. It makes the tension real visceral. You can almost hear the roar building up. Specific conchis are sometimes mentioned in wider contexts, but here it's the overall cacophony.
It signifies that this is it. The point of no return. The battle is about to begin.
Absolutely. It's the culmination of years, generations really, of conflict. Everything's led to this moment on Kurukshetra.
Okay, so the stage is set, the noise is building, and then Arjuna makes a move. He tells Krishna, who's driving his chariot,
His charioteer.
to drive him right into the middle, between the two armies. Why there?
Well, Arjuna says he wants to see clearly who he's actually up against. Who has assembled here, ready to fight, supporting the evil-minded Duryodhana.
He wants a good look at the opposition. A warrior assessing the field.
Exactly. It seems like a practical, strategic move initially. Let me see these people I must fight with.
And Krishna, who's called Hrishikesha here, which some commentaries link to Lord of the Senses.
Right. That name itself has deeper connotations.
He does it. He drives the chariot right into that central space between both forces. Is there significance in Krishna just complying like that?
I think so. Even before Krishna reveals his divine nature, this act can be seen symbolically. He's positioning Arjuna perfectly.
For what?
Not just to see the enemy soldiers, perhaps, but to confront the reality of the situation, to see the faces of his own relatives and teachers lined up against him. Krishna facilitates this crucial moment of seeing.
So it's like Krishna's already guiding him, even if Arjuna doesn't realize the full extent yet.
You could interpret it that way, almost like setting the stage for Arjuna's internal conflict to fully erupt, placing him where he can't avoid the personal dimension of the war.
And from that spot, Arjuna looks out. And what does he see? It's not just anonymous warriors, is it?
No, that's the key. He sees individuals he knows intimately. He sees grandfathers like Bhishma. He sees teachers like Drona.
Uncles, sons, grandsons.
Brothers-in-law, fathers-in-law, companions, friends. People from his own side, potentially, but definitely relatives and revered figures in the opposing Kaurava army.
His own people, essentially, spread across both lines.
Exactly. And seeing them all there, ready to kill and be killed, that's the moment everything changes for Arjuna.
The warrior's resolve, it evaporates.
Completely. It's replaced by this overwhelming wave of compassion, pity, and attachment. Suddenly, it's not about strategic targets. It's about people he loves and respects.
He lists them, doesn't he? Grandfathers, fathers-in-law, teachers, uncles. It emphasizes how personal this is.
It really does. The sheer weight of these relationships hits him. His duty as a Kshatriya, a warrior, which was clear moments before, now feels completely wrong, directly opposed to his feelings for these people.
And this triggers a massive physical and emotional reaction. The text describes it vividly.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just sadness. He says his limbs are quivering, his mouth goes dry, his body trembles, his hair stands on end.
His famous bow, Gandiva, slips from his hand.
Right. His skin feels like it's burning. He says he can barely stand. His mind is reeling, feels totally confused.
It sounds like a full-blown panic attack or breakdown.
It really does. It's a profound psychophysical response to the horror of his situation. The prospect of killing his own kinsman utterly incapacitates him.
But it's not just about the personal pain of killing loved ones, is it? He starts talking about wider consequences.
Yes, his grief quickly moves into reasoning, into articulating why this feels so wrong. He foresees terrible outcomes beyond the immediate deaths.
Like what?
He worries about the destruction of families, the loss of timeless family traditions. He fears that with the men killed, lawlessness, adharma will take over.
Okay, so a breakdown of social order.
Precisely. He specifically mentions the corruption of women leading to the mixing of castes, which, in his view, leads to hell for the ancestors and the destroyers of the family. It's a very traditionalist viewpoint he's expressing here.
He sees this cascade of negative consequences disrupting dharma, the whole righteous order of society.
Yes. He believes this war will poison the very roots of society, leading to chaos and suffering for generations. He sees only evil omens. No good coming from killing his own people.
So he's trapped. Victory seems pointless and sinful. Defeat is obviously bad. There's no good option in his mind.
None at all. He explicitly says, I don't desire victory, Krishna, nor kingdom, nor pleasures. What use is any of that, he asks, if the very people you'd enjoy it with are killed?
That really hits home. The value everything is lost if the cost is destroying your own connections.
Exactly. He feels the sin of killing relatives, especially revered elders and teachers, would be enormous, far outweighing any gain. Even if they are technically aggressors, he feels killing them is wrong.
And this leads him to what the chapter title suggests, delusion, or deep despair.
You could call it both. His grief and moral horror overwhelm his judgment as a warrior. He loses his resolve completely.
He basically renounces the fight.
He does. He puts forward strong arguments from his perspective for why fighting is wrong. The sin involved, the destruction of family, the pointlessness of a victory soaked in the blood of kinsmen.
He even says he'd rather be killed himself, unarmed by the Kauravas, than fight them.
Yes, that's the depth of his despair and conviction at this moment. The sin of participating seems far worse to him than dying.
And the chapter ends how?
It ends with Arjuna literally casting aside his bow and arrows, sinking down onto the seat of his chariot, his mind completely overcome by sorrow, utterly dejected.
Wow. Quite an ending. A renowned hero, totally incapacitated by his own emotions and moral reasoning.
It's incredibly powerful. It perfectly sets up the need for the dialogue that follows. Krishna has to address this profound crisis.
So summing up chapter 1, we get the battlefield set up, the army's ready.
Then Arjuna's request to see everyone, his shock of recognition.
Leading to that intense grief, the physical breakdown, the arguments against fighting based on kinship and dharma.
And finally, his complete collapse and refusal to fight, dropping his weapons.
It's such a contrast, isn't it? The expectation of this heroic warrior and then this descent into despair.
It really highlights the complexity of the situation. It's not just a simple battle of good versus evil from Arjuna's immediate perspective. It's deeply personal and morally tangled.
It definitely makes you think, what part of Arjuna's dilemma resonates most strongly with you, the listener? That clash between duty and personal ties, Or maybe the fear of unintended consequences.
Yeah, have you ever been in a situation, maybe not war, but where what you felt you had to do clashed hard with your personal feelings or what felt morally right?
It's a universal tension, I think.
It really is. And Arjuna's raw expression of it here is what makes it so compelling.
Well, obviously, this isn't the end of the story. This breakdown is just the start.
Exactly, it's the necessary starting point. Arjuna's questions, born from this deep sorrow, are what prompt Krishna's profound teachings in the rest of the Gita.
Teachings about duty, action, wisdom, the nature of the self. All that comes next.
Right. We've just scratched the surface with this first chapter, setting the stage. But what a stage it is.
It certainly is a powerful beginning to exploring a text that still speaks to us so deeply today.
Absolutely. Arjuna's crisis opens the door to a vast landscape of insight, plenty more to explore down the line.